like to welcome everyone. I call this meeting to order at 3:30 p.m. Hack. We'll start with the roll call, beginning to my right. Joe?
Stokes here.
Brennan Love here.
Brian Hoffman.
Mary White here.
Sutherland here.
All right, let the record reflect we have a quorum of all members present. Public comments. At this time, we will move into public comments. This section of the meeting and hear from those who have signed in before the meeting was called to order. I'm thinking since no one's here, that's probably nobody.
We've got a visitor that's gonna be coming, CJ Thatcher's gonna be.
Okay,
Good.
I'll wait and see. Does that person want to make a comment? Okay. Howdy. Did you sign up for a comment?
I did not.
Okay.
I did.
Brandon
Yeah, I
signed you in
signed
for a
up.
comment? All right, fair enough. All right, consent items. First consent items, easily done. That's the minutes from last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from our last meeting?
Yes.
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 Are there any corrections or amendments?
From the last.
We called to order, we had the quorum, public comments, consent items, all the other fun stuff, and we adjourned at 4:15. So that was a quick meeting. Anybody have anything they would like to change or have updated? All right, I'll take a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, we have approved the meeting minutes. All right, so that's easy. Now we'll go to 6, public hearing ordinance, resolutions, and other items. 6.1 is action on airport master plan implementation, input, and guidance. What I did for you guys is I talked with Mackenzie because she has put together a rather nice list of the items broken out from the airport master plan as she believes they could get accomplished. Broken out in nice small bits and bites. And what I'd like to do is discuss her list and then find out if we have something we go, hey, this, as people who fly airplanes, talk about airplanes, like airplanes, think this might be a higher priority or something that needs better discussion or better improvement. Give that back to the city and say, hey, we like this, but we'd like to move this up for this reasons, and give them our expertise. I'm curious what you guys think about that as our moving forward item. Now, did you print that for everybody, your list? All right, well, I have it on my computer.
I can make copies. You want me to have Chris to make copies?
Yes, please. That'd be a lot easier. And in short, the things are going to be stuff like, yes, please. The fencing, the berm, the AWAS, the fly-through ADSB, basically airport counter, things like that. Getting the pilot lounge repaired in good order. Possibly discussing the hangars that are the dirt hangars, modernizing those to whatever level is appropriate so that they can be counted as enclosed hangars. Because right now we're at 7, we really need 10. And we have 11 if we include all 4 of those. Probably something we want to consider asking the city to work on. So I really appreciate the list. When I read through it, I was like, I kind of want to be able to use this. Because it's a good start. So let's get that. We'll go through the list.
While we're waiting,
Okay.
do we have a vacancy on the airport board? Does anyone know?
No, ma'am.
We're full. Okay.
You're full. We talked about having a possible 6th, but the city council never updated the ordinance or the airport board bylaws. Thank you. 'Cause having a 6th would make it easier if someone couldn't make it.
Sure, yeah.
But it seems like right now it's worked pretty well.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You are so well.
Does he know you from prison? Or?
Yeah. You ought to see her on the weekend.
That's her. All right, so the first thing we got up here is funds available. Basically, just shy of $1 million worth of monies that the airport can get from other sources, state and federal, which I assume all this is 90/10?
The ramp is not.
Ramp is all by itself?
Hold on, the ramp is 90/10, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. The ARPA and CRRSSA, that is just a flat gift, there's no match on that.
Okay.
The PE and the number 1 and 2, those are also just,
Yeah,
that's our money,
That's our money.
yes.
That's-
The only one that is matched would be ramp,
And that's 90/10,
that's correct.
and then 90/10 here. So, looks like there's, in top gear math, almost $800,000 of monies we could spend, or have the city spend, because we don't get to spend anything. Have them for like the improvements, the AWAS,
That's correct.
fence, berm. Those 4 things, obviously, probably the number 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. So, hangars, yep, we want to get those into compliance. And essentially what we're doing there is make them to where they meet a standard where they can count as homed aircraft.
Right.
So that's,
And it's actually not, I've learned since then, it's not a NIPIAS compliance. I'm not really sure what it is, but we don't do the reclassification through NIPIAS. So I was incorrect with that, but the compliance piece would be getting us to that 10 base aircraft at our facilities.
so it's not NIPIS, but it is just a compliance like an FAA.
Yes, and that will put us back in the running for those annual funds that they just give airports,
Right.
for the non-primary entitlement funds.
Okay, so that seems pretty high on our list.
Yes.
One question, the roof at a lot of these, a lot of the enclosed hangars that we have has some issues. Has anybody addressed that, looked at that? There's holes in the roofs. Some of the tenants out there have complained to me, just going out there and poking around, like they don't like the water on their airplane and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't like it in our airport lounge either.
Right.
Or our airport office out there with the pilot's lounge. We have been going back and forth with insurance on getting that repaired and also our TxDOT cleaner. When David was our airport manager, there were times where we could get TxDOT to say over the phone, yes, that's eligible for ramp funding. And then we would ask for it in writing and the answer would be no, it's not eligible. That's about $100,000 repair. So if it's not eligible for funding or reimbursement on the back end, that's a pretty big expense for us to bite off. So really, what I'm hoping is once we get a new airport manager before then, if not, I'm still working on it with Michael Mitchell, and our TxDOT cleaner, is to get something definitively, whether or not we can use those grant funds to repair that roof.
Okay.
That's what I'm working on.
Is the roof repairs, is it just because a screw is coming out of the sheet metal? Or does it actually have, because it's pretty hard to damage.
It was storm damage.
Storm damage.
2023.
Okay, yep.
That was ripped off.
That's right. Yeah, I remember we had one aircraft that was damaged. I think the door or something had hit it.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Okay. So, getting the hangars in compliance seems to be in process. I like that's obviously a compliance issue, and it also is one of the easy indicators for whether or not we're an A1 or not. So, I would agree that would probably be pretty high on the list. New lease execution, existing lease execution, can you explain that just a smidge for us, please?
Sure, so of the hangars that were empty, just going down that wait list and asking people, are you still interested, let us know, the few that have come forward and said they're interested, getting them copies of the lease, just having the correspondence back and forth where you're saying things like, how much it is, when it begins, when it ends, what do you mean by hazardous material, there's just a lot of conversation that takes place when you're negotiating the leases. I'm happy to say that is done. I received my last signed lease this morning.
Excellent.
So,
Congratulations.
waiting for planes to fly in. One thing that has happened that we didn't really realize until recently is we don't have keys to all of the hangars. So as people have moved on, they've not returned the keys, so we don't have keys to everything. So our locksmith this week, he's already ordered all of the parts. He's going to come out and rekey all of those to include a master lock, I forget what they call it, component, so that my master key and the public works master key will work no matter what, whether we get the key back or not.
Yeah, had like a ring full of keys. And we were
Yes.
going through,
Yes, it's terrible.
yeah.
Yeah, but I've got 3 planes waiting to fly in as soon as we get those locks rekeyed.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
All right, you have the Molnack property now purchased by the city, annexed into the city. That's, I assume that's a,
That's slated for March.
okay, so that's,
March, just that there's a lot of publications that have to happen, so that should happen in March.
okay, so that's all on its own, and it's on autopilot, nothing that you need from us.
That's correct.
Okay, subdividing, not anything we need to worry about?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna, those two as marked. Reimbursement process, that's probably not us either,
No, sir.
okay? And deed to the city with, reverter clause, that's not anything to do with us.
It's not, that's gonna be for the EDC.
And the one thing we'd say is, when you guys break the land out, before it's final, could we at least see it, so that we kinda double check that the line doesn't need to be 10 feet left or 10 feet right? If all of a sudden someone goes, hey, the AWAS needs 400 feet and you gave it 380, now we're playing games.
Sure, KSA's already done that.
Sweet,
because,
perfect.
It's required as part of the reimbursement. They will not give us
Excellent.
1 foot more than is eligible for reimbursement, so, but yeah, I'm happy to let you guys.
I just wanna make sure that got done. If KSA is doing it,
Do you want that on an agenda, or is it okay to just send the exhibit out to you guys once we get it?
just send it.
Okay.
Yeah, because if KSA is doing that to the standard, I know what the standard is, and
Okay.
I know they're fine. So what I didn't wanna do is leave you guys with a problem.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so the property small neck stuff seems to be fine. The property Carroll, that's the little piece in front of, the approach into runway 19. And I see that the house is gone, I see some of the trees are gone. Are we getting rid of everything to the fence line?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get rid of whatever we need to. Whatever is gone is nothing that the city's done.
Okay, there's several things that have been cleaned out.
Yeah, I think that was a part of the demo that happened when I
Perfect,
was there.
okay. There is a fire hydrant there. Does it get tested, do we know? Is that city fire hydrant?
It's in the city, so my guess would be yes, but I
Okay.
can't swear to that.
It has no new paint, and I know some of them, every time you guys test them, you paint them.
Okay.
Well,
Different department, Brian, I don't know.
I understand. But it would be good to know if that actually had good water pressure, because it is obviously on the property. All right, so you guys have done all the reimbursement stuff and the deed stuff, so we like
So,
that.
Let me just clarify, it is not done.
No, it's in process,
Yeah, this is a checklist that they require us to do, and it's a lot.
but it's in
So
process.
we're working, we're trying to parallel gathering all of the checklist items with the annexation, so that when that happens, both can happen, we're just ready
Yep,
to roll.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you don't need any input from us.
No, sir.
So that's, what I'm trying to do is make sure that anything you guys need, we get a chance to discuss and go, yes, here's how we'd love to see that go for you guys. And I will say for the record, I'm really, really thankful for all the work last year you guys had to put yourselves through. It's a lot of work. And, ours wasn't that much work.
Yeah, y'all did all the
You guys
work.
did most of the work, but getting those 2 properties gives us so many opportunities to do things that we might not have been able to do, and when it falls in your lap like that, you've gotta take advantage of it, so, thank you for all that. All right, hangars. Obviously, repairing the hangars is, been talked about, and that's definitely, we're in agreement that those have to get done. I like your plan moving forward. I would like to make sure that the dirt ones get a real opportunity to get floored and doored so that they can count. Is that something we need to tell the city that we would like that? And obviously, I'm speaking for the council, but I don't know anyone here that's gonna object to us getting into compliance.
No.
That's something I can do as the airport manager, I can facilitate getting a contractor out there, getting
Okay.
estimates, bids, seeing what that amount is, procurement if we need to, before we take the council.
Is that, that particular item, is that something that the city is gonna need, like a certified engineer, a certified architect? Or is this something that, there's a lot of people that know how to build hangars out there that, build hangars on property without having, 10 engineers sign off on it. You see what I'm getting at?
I do.
From a cost standpoint, I know from a liability standpoint, the city needs to ensure that the structures meet certain standards. But that's where a $50,000 hanger ends up costing $400,000. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
You wanna get the most for your
list for that?
They do. Yeah.
All right, that's good. So repairing the hangars and getting the other ones up to snuff seems to be right up there. Phase 1 master plan implementation stuff. Here's the meat and potatoes. Berm removal is gonna have to happen whether we like it or not because, well, I will say if we can't get the properties on the west side, that may be an issue, so that may have to wait slightly. Would you agree with that? The AWAS we gotta have. If you guys can acquire the church and the car properties, that would be fortuitous, because that would get rid of all the implementation problems we've had for all the sight lines and clearways and flyways. But I think the AWAS is probably higher than the berm right now, because I don't know how long that's gonna take. And then when you purchase one, I don't know what the timeline is for installation, but I realize you have to have the property deeded first. Can those two go together at all?
KSA is already working on implementing the AWAS in parallel with the annexation of the property entities in the city. They're ready to roll on getting the AWAS.
Sweet.
They're just waiting on us to say go.
Is there any way in the future we could get a CC on some of that communications? That way we would know these things before meetings?
Yes.
Thank you.
Trying to think when the last time I had communication with them about that, but yeah.
No, I mean, because that way it can inspire some communication.
Sure.
I can't get my words to come out correctly. That's awesome. If that's already being moved forward, then and it's in conjunction, that's even better. One can only hope. The acquisition of those two other properties, is the city doing anything yet on that?
No.
Would it help if we said, yeah, we really would like you guys to move forward, or is it just too early to ask for that?
I don't think it's too early. I think we could have done it a year ago when we started talking about the airport, or even 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. I think what's gonna be, it's important to get the right person to do that. And I'm not entirely sure, I need someone who understands how to negotiate property easements and acquisitions, someone who speaks that language. If we knew someone who had already established personal relationship with either property owner, that would go a long way. I think some of the concern, just based on the experience that we have with the Mullinax, naturally, without any conversation from the city, they felt like we were gonna take it, that we were gonna do eminent domain, and so my guess would be that they may feel that same way.
Didn't the mayor talk about that the church was willing to sell us part of the land or some piece of the property, whatever, a couple of meetings ago? About this time last year?
I don't think so. I will say that when I had KSA identify what portions of the easements we would need, I had them kind of dress up an exhibit for me.
Sure.
The church is problematic. Car's really not that big of a deal. The only issue with him is that Kwanzaa hut that sits out there that's full of the junk. Otherwise, we would not impede on his actual business.
Correct.
The church is a little bit different. A portion of their, children's church building is in the way.
Is there,
The actual structure?
That's correct. So that's gonna be a little bit more difficult to remedy.
is that with where we need the taxiway to be, or where the taxiway is currently?
Where we need it to be.
Okay. Now that we have the land on the far side, can we move the runway east enough to where that's no longer a problem? Is that something we could ask KSA?
The answer to that is yes, but TxDOT will not fund that.
They will not fund it at all?
the relocation of our runway.
Okay, no matter what.
That's what I'm told, yes. sir.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it just.
One
so-
option might be to widen the runway to the east.
Oh, yeah, but, well,
You know,
Well,
I don't know if
yeah,
the
'cause
dimensions
we'll be
work.
changing the center line.
gotta move the center line.
Mhm.
Yeah. You've gotta make it bigger, you gotta make it wider, so making the width go that way, I don't know if it's far enough that you get outside of the building. That might be the next question. If the, 'cause the runway's gotta get wider, I mean, it just has to.
Hello?
It's so narrow.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Could I, is it okay if I ask her while he's out?
Absolutely.
While he's out, I didn't know if it still was part of the quorum.
It's okay? I think so.
Wanna take,
Just real quick, Ms. McKenzie,
I
Put that microphone
Down?
please, thank you.
I actually just negotiated some easements this past week on some property I just acquired, and it was question is on the easements, we're basically, to remove the berm, has KSA told us how many cubic yards of material that is?
It may be in the plan somewhere, but I don't know what that number is.
Okay. And so the city, does the city own up to that fence line?
That's
Yes,
my
we're-
understanding.
And the material is probably material that the city could probably use. Is that something that, if we got the easement secured, that the city could themselves, you take that material out? You know, y'all have equipment, dump trucks, because it's probably usable material that could even be stockpiled for the city to use at a different location, or, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Instead of that being a cost, that's actually a resource the city could use. They could sell the material, or they could actually stockpile it themselves, because topsoil is pretty valuable. The city may do. So that would be my question as far as if we did get the easement. Is it something the city does, or do we have to hire it? And we've already got KSA to tell us, you know,
Right.
how much material to use and what grade.
Mhm.
Can the city employees do that, or is that something the city employees are not allowed to do?
So they absolutely can do that, and when we hired a new public works director, that was kind of the topic of conversation, is we can do that, we have the equipment, and they
Sure.
went out there and looked at it, and said, that's way more than we can do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We need some bigger
Very
equipment.
expensive, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, as far as, deferring costs where we can say, we'll take the topsoil, or you can dump it over here instead of them, having to pay someone else to dispose of it.
I would recommend if you put at the south end of the field where it slopes off,
Okay.
start building that area up, because we want that extra dirt over there for the runway.
Yeah, having to buy that material when you already have it is.
Okay.
That's the obvious place to
Yeah.
put it.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe even the city could, rent a big off-road dump truck, and the city employees would love to. You could let them work on the weekend for free.
They do it for
drive
free,
those
yeah.
big, heavy equipment.
We have dump trucks. I think not only was it, did we need different equipment, I think we need more manpower.
Gotcha.
Because they still have to do their other.
Right, that's true.
things.
Yeah, sure.
But we did talk about it, and they were very in favor of doing it, and they went out there and looked at it.
Yeah, is it 10,000 yards, or is it 50,000 yards? I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But putting it at the departure end of 19, to build that area up, because that area does slope down from there. That would get the runway back to level, keep us on grade. That would be really nice.
Okay.
And when that dirt sits there, it now compacts.
Yep.
And it gets time to season itself. Just makes life so much faster and easier later on. So, do you need anything from us on that?
I mean, any recommendations on the negotiation of the property acquisition or easements is welcome. I don't think I'm the right person to do that. I'll certainly give it a go.
Yeah, I don't know who
But I
Who
don't
around
think
here-
it's me.
I don't know who around here is the Eagle Beagle / real estate person that would do that kind of stuff for us.
I'll
I've
be
no
honest,
idea.
even getting into that, having to go to council and ask what realtor do you want me to use, these are all recent experiences with the Molinak plan
Yeah.
where we almost lost the deal entirely for something as simple as realtor selection.
Right.
And so again, maybe I'm just being extra sensitive because of that experience.
That's why we want to support you.
But that's really what I need more than, that's what the airport needs more than anything right now is a game plan on that easement, acquiring that easement and acquiring, the acquisition of that property.
All right, so the easement.
When we have the funding, we have the support, we just need access to the land to do it.
Let me ask you something on that. Is, on the car deal, if it's the Quonset hut is
possible?
Possible, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know how probable it would be as far as location, what would be, you know, a benefit to him.
I don't know.
If, we have to be careful too, 'cause if we put him in the city, then that's a code issue.
Okay.
And I don't wanna create.
I thought the airport was on the city.
I don't think Carr is.
He's surrounded, but he's not included?
It's weird out there.
Yeah, he probably boycotted that every
did.
step of the way.
I don't think he gets a choice.
He might have.
When it comes to annexation, he gets a choice. Yeah.
Okay?
Carr is, so.
Pretty sure that-
So, yes,
find out.
we could essentially send code enforcement out there, but that's not gonna make us any friends.
Yeah, let's.
No, yeah.
Let's try to
Yeah.
win friends and.
Now, you know, what we could potentially do is offer to pay to have a roll-off out there and dispose of all that stuff for him in exchange for, you know, maybe then he would wanna sell that, cause he's not using it.
It's just junk that's under there.
Right.
Is that Quonset hut on his personal property or?
Yes.
Okay, so it's all on his property. Okay. Fair enough. Just want to make sure that there was no lines of blurs. So I guess going and having a conversation with them and saying, hey, is there any way we could move this because we would like the airport to be improved? And we'd like you to have more customers with airplanes, not lawnmowers. Might be worth it. Might be worth going and chit-chatting. Did the former airport manager go chat with him at all? Did we have any success? Did we have it, I mean, so there was just no good conversation, or
It was at least friendly.
it was friendly, okay.
Well received anyway.
Yes.
Well received and friendly is good,
Yes.
that's a start. I wonder if, is there any documentation out there that says once we get the additional aircraft on airport, home droned, home based, that he should expect an improvement in possible workload being the only mechanic on the field?
I think he believes that to be the case, that, which is why he's pushed to get them full and to keep our fuel prices competitive and, you know, get the
Yeah,
hangers fixed.
I saw him on the city council meeting.
Mhm.
I saw it from
And he's
Japan.
right, everything he said was accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a reason to voice those concerns, they're valid.
But they were great.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been fighting for the same thing, only
Right.
differently.
yeah.
So we're, more's better. Yeah, I don't mind, who is the appropriate people to go chat with him? Is it you, or is it,
That's kind of where I'm coming at with this, is I don't know who the right person would be, if you're, I mean.
I'm willing to go
within
chat
the
with them.
city, sure, so am I, but I mean, I think we need to be strategic about who would really be the best person that he would listen to. That's what we're missing, I don't know who that person would be.
We got several pilots right here that could probably go chat. I just don't know if that's something the city would like.
I mean, I personally would, because like I said, I know it's a big need out there at the airport, and, you know, it's just, I don't think that I'm the right person to do that. I'm happy to do it, but I want it to be successful.
Sure, we all do.
And I don't speak the language.
Is there other land available close where he could put his Quonset hut if he wanted to keep it, even if the city said, hey, we'll bring a big roll-off, you can get rid of all the stuff, we'll go recycle it, we'll do whatever needs to get done. But it's time to move forward, because we would like to have this airport set up to where you get more customers with airplanes. What's your thoughts? And
What
see,
would he use it for?
Quonset hut, you'd store 2 airplanes in there that you're working on.
Okay.
If you could get it cleaned out, you could park one in each corner, and then wings
Yep.
would be
Okay.
like this, and then the tails into the corners. And so you'd have, and you could stagger them, so you could do one wing over, one wing under. It really depends on how you want to do it. And you can pull airplanes with your hands. They're not that heavy.
I've not looked at an aerial of it with that thought in mind, so I don't know the answer to that right off. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Okay? Is that something you would like
Sure,
from
that
us?
I can do.
I mean, do you need us to do anything to help you with that, or you good
I
enough
mean,
just?
if you guys want to figure out who, you know, help brainstorm who would be a good person to talk to the church and or Mr. Carr, you know, that's the greatest need that I have right now is negotiating the acquisition of easement.
I issued the water permit for the church back in 2001. Maybe, you know, I'm like,
Go out there
I've got a little history with them. I issued them a permit from the state permit.
Okay.
that would be out of our way, it's not any of the flyways. It's up against a house, they would love to have a church instead of light industry closer to them, so we give ourselves a buffer. That seems to me like the obvious place, if we could broker that, that would be sweet.
I was told recently that, I think it's the Burl, I think it was offered, Murley. The Murley hangar. I spoke to the son after he passed, and he said that he would contact me if or when he got ready to sell the hangar, his dad's hangar. And I was told last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, that he's given the church right of first refusal on that hangar.
I don't know which hangar you're talking about.
So when you're coming into the airport, I don't know if it's, do you know if it's before or after the entrance gate?
Right here.
It's on the right-hand side.
Oh, that little building?
I didn't know, okay.
It's before Cars Place.
Is this on city property?
No.
It's privately owned,
That's
so
correct.
that hangar is privately owned.
Ah,
And the church wants to use it for parking.
Ooh. Well, before they did that,
I just think it's a really great time to find somebody to talk to people in the church. and
yeah,
let them
this,
know what we're doing.
that's why this is the right time.
Thinking about the Murleys and all that history,
Yeah, you'd have history.
yeah, I mean,
It used to be
I'm
my
not sure
property.
which son this is, but certainly I knew the Murleys well. I'd be
Yeah.
willing to talk, I feel like Dr. Murley would be all for progress with the airport. So if his son understood the ramifications, maybe he'd make a change there.
Thank you. Yeah, but that'd be great.
So is it good if I connect you through email?
Sure.
Thanks, Stephen.
Is that Stephen? There were 3 sons, I think, out of them.
Okay.
He knew your father?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad would go fly with him. My
Perfect.
dad wasn't a pilot, but
He used to
they
go
would
ride?
fly.
That's fine. All right.
Doctor, when I was a little kid.
All right, so I think I know who I'm sending if I need to send anybody. All right, so that's the little hangar. And if we got that hangar, that's a 12th hangar,
Correct.
so that'd be even better. We would have, now that makes it go pretty high on the list then, of things we would like to acquire. Because that opens up a lot of opportunity. Those 4 are really good. Man, that just, think about it. At that point, we have some breathing room. All right, I like that idea. Do you need anything in writing from us saying this, or any motions or anything, or are you good with just?
Let me just make sure I understand. I'm gonna connect Mary with, Stephen Murley, the son.
Mhm.
Brandon, are you willing to reach out to someone from the church and test the waters there, so that not only leaves Mr. Carr?
I'll go visit with Mr. Carr too.
Okay. That's huge to have that.
Yeah, we're here to help.
Yeah.
All right, so,
And I will look at, potential relocation slots for the Quonset hut.
okay, sweet. I think we're down to explore opportunities for airport operating tracking system. That's the ADSB stuff. I think that's mandatory. We have to know the traffic count. And I think it's higher than we think, especially now we're getting more airplanes. That shows very quickly that we're on a trajectory of much better operations, much better utilization. That's hard data. It's hard to refute, especially if we're gonna ask for reclassification. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't that was very
A
reasonable.
couple $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they show up with their own equipment. So,
Bird Tower was the, primary.
I think that's the one we knew of.
The, aviation conference that I went to, Bird Tower was the #1 vendor out there. I will say too, when you talk to Mr. Lawrence at your lunch tomorrow, talk to him specifically about the AWAS.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant just got an AWAS, and they're having some significant issues with theirs, it's not working. And so you may wanna talk through that with him before we get too far along in ours, and then kinda figure out who they're using, why it's not working. Mount Pleasant's having a lot of trouble with theirs.
Okay. That I can do. Do you need anything from us on that? Okay. Do you know if is the city ready to spend money on that yet? Because I think that can go all by itself. We don't need any of the other pieces of money sometimes to get your stuff squared up where people can use it. I mean, that's just reality. All right, so that would be nice to get that going. I think that has to be an asterisk item of high importance. The AWAS, I think, we talked about.
Brian, are we saying that
Hangers.
the operations tracking system is really number one?
It has to be darn high.
Is it number one, or is the AWAS number one?
Tracking probably has to be number one, in my
I would
opinion.
think so.
And it's relatively low cost.
Right.
Very low cost.
And independent of anything else being done, so
Yeah.
we should recommend that be the number one priority, I think.
You may want to have a conversation with Michael Mitchell at KSA.
Okay.
He seems to think AWAS is higher priority and doesn't see a lot of value in the, I'm gonna call it a bird tower, I know that's not.
Sure,
That's fine.
Traffic count.
I don't really understand the whys behind that conversation, but it may warrant you having a conversation with him so he can talk through that with you.
Okay.
He seemed to think that the counts that we need were already available to us out there somewhere, and that the bird tower counting systems were fairly inaccurate.
Okay.
And that
Then
the focus should be on AWAS.
fair enough. How do
We
we
should learn
get the
more.
other traffic counts then? Where do we?
Let me connect with Michael.
Okay.
He explained it much better than I.
Because that's an important thing to be able to have if we're gonna go for reclass.
Maybe you should be getting it off like Flyware.
He's doing off of yeah.
But you're missing a lot.
We're still missing a lot of people who show up and just get gas and the nav lights might not be turned on.
So my understanding, just little pieces are coming back, the counter is the number of touches that come and go, so that will help us with our runway extension when we get there. It will not help us be reclassified. The reclassification will come the minute that we trigger 10 registered base aircraft.
Okay, fair enough.
Those are two separate things.
I thought you had to have both, traffic count and based airplane. All right, fair enough.
The touches, as I understand it, really will help us as we progress towards the runway extension. But verify all of that with Michael Mitchell,
Yep.
make sure.
All right, I'll take
that's
that for,
correct.
I'll take that for action. All right, fair enough. Pilot lounge update. It-
And we took the broken chairs out and put the couch in there.
Okay, is it livable otherwise?
Yeah,
It's not bad.
it's not livable, but yeah.
I mean, for someone to show up for a couple hours to hang out.
It would take very few dollars to make that thing something we should be proud of.
That,
I
okay,
just need, that's one of the first things I'll task the airport manager with. I know it's low hanging fruit, but it's just getting contractors in there, figure out what it would cost, and what they could do, and how much money that would be to.
do we want to put a Winnsboro flare on our airport pilot lounge? Some of our art and some of our historical pictures.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might have something from Autumn Days and all the other fun stuff inside our lounge.
Change the paint color, maybe put a wainscoting or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Expensive.
we want it to look a little bit like the local flair.
Yep.
You know, maybe even have some of the businesses have, have a little board on there for them to advertise, 'cause
I had the idea to put a TV in there with something that's just scrolling.
that's,
We can keep it updated.
that's awesome. The weather, you can have the weather on there.
You have to have the weather for pilots. I mean, that's pilot TV.
Even with an AWOS.
Yeah, because where am I going?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna do touch and goes, probably. I wanna go someplace. Where do I wanna go?
Heading to Florida. This is, a lot of people, this is a great place for them to stop and get fuel on the way to California, Florida. For us, is they fly right through.
So, those things are good. I don't know if everyone's got their own computers and stuff these days. I don't know if we need to have a computer there for logging in and doing flight plans and everything else.
No, but maybe Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, we definitely
Wi-Fi.
should have Wi-Fi out
They're
there.
probably gonna be traveling with iPads, I mean, almost.
Yeah,
Sure.
everybody would have that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any need for computers.
But Wi-Fi would be good.
Wi-Fi, yes.
Wi-Fi would be good. It's already there, so that's complete. Your wish is their command. All right, so what would we want to do on getting the pilot lounge done? Do you need anything from us to say, yes, please, or is it the city just gonna get there when they get there?
Well, I mean, I just need a person to be able to execute that, so I'm hoping.
So your new airport manager is gonna be tasked with,
That's correct.
get that one updated. All right, so we're probably okay on that. Any input, Mary? Is there
I was just gonna say-
groups that you might want to give them an opportunity to put things on the walls?
I'd like to be involved with the pilot lounge renovation.
Good. Kind of hoped that there was kind of a local flair.
Don't want to lead it, but I'd like to.
Well, you probably got
I'm
some.
not a decorator.
Well, you might have some of your dad's old pictures and stuff. that,
Yeah, I'd
know,
like
that
to
he's probably-
have a picture of him out there. I think that would,
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
and it needs to look decent, so it's not embarrassing.
Right. It's high time this thing looks professional. All right, so I'm gonna give that one to Mary. All right, fuel management. Have we gotten a handle on our fuel price versus the area's fuel pricing?
We had a really good handle on it. We had an airport manager, but in absence of someone to keep a pulse on that, it is not where it should be. Mr. Carr would like for it to be.
Are we making money on fuel?
Not maybe into that.
Does anybody know?
I'd have to ask finance.
Okay.
Where does our fuel come from?
David changed the provider, our previous airport manager, when he came, because he found somebody that didn't make us buy as large a bulk as the other people that we used. The answer, short answer, is I don't know the name of the company. Winkle.
I don't know who we're getting our gas from, but MoGas still comes from Winnsboro.
No gas from.
And we check it all once a month, so
Okay,
it's a rotation of once a month.
okay, fair enough. 87? Octane?
No, it's
93?
93?
Yeah.
93, okay, MoGas 93.
MoGas anchor.
Just, and that's ethanol free, 'cause
Yep. They only sell ethanol free on that. Yep.
all right, fair enough. Just need to know what we got on that. I guess the question on that's gonna be, is it making money or not? And it probably needs to make money,
A little bit.
a little bit. It needs to make something to keep it.
We can only, there's a line that you have, that you draw. It's only, the markup can only be so much
Okay.
by whatever it is. I can't remember exactly what it is. We have done some research on this before.
This is a code?
That there's only so much that you can mark it up over
Yeah.
whatever you pay for it.
Sure.
So even if the price drops tomorrow, we can charge over or
Sure.
down or up, but we can only go.
Buying in such bulk, that was the issue with the bulk. We had to try to recoup the expense.
Right.
Now that we're not buying as much of it.
So,
The flip side of that is, if it's too high, no one's gonna buy it, and then you risk it, water settling in it, and then you lose everything.
right.
And so I don't know the best way to navigate that challenge.
Does,
Sell more, have it,
Yeah.
have it fresh. I mean, more takeoffs and landings, that's the answer.
But
does-
if someone, if they tell you, you have to buy X number of gallons at this price because you're empty, and then you have a policy that says, well, I'm not gonna land there and buy fuel because it's this, and they bought after them and it's cheaper here.
Sure.
You kind
Yeah.
of hide your hand.
does the city own the fuel equipment?
Yes.
Who maintains the fuel equipment? Does the fuel vendor? So y'all do that?
And I hate to keep referring back to David, but he found a company that would do that for us, and I would have to get with finance and see who we pay to do the testing.
We had a check last year.
Yeah, I
I
mean-
was involved in having the check last year.
Okay.
So it happened last year, they put a stamp on the pump to check the pump, everything is good, and then we got a pump place that I was just visiting with her, we had to make our fuel.
Is that annual requirement?
Yes.
Yeah, the Texas Department of Agriculture, I think, is who regulates the fuel, so the dispensing is right when you buy a gallon, you get a gallon.
Had a tag.
But does
Thank
this,
you.
like as far as the filter and the testing to make sure there's no water or the spigot to it, if there is water in it, does the city have a maintenance schedule that the city goes by and randomly checks that?
So my understanding from TxDOT is in order to test and to pull samples, you have to be licensed or certified to do that. So no, the answer is we do not. But David had someone coming out who was doing
Gotcha.
that was pulling those samples and was testing. He wasn't certified either. And so just having someone that's knowledgeable to know who that resource and contact is to keep us compliant. So that's kind of the piece I was talking about is, doing those regular testing and pulling samples that, I mean, nobody on my team wants to be certified to do that. I don't blame them.
Yeah, yeah.
Left, he's like, I'm out.
Is that because it's too arduous or
It's a lot of liability.
just liability? Okay.
Yeah. TxDOT said, one of the first site visits that I had with our TxDOT rep, asked us the first question
next thing is the tanks are above ground and probably in the wrong place. I think KSA talked about that when we started doing the master plan
Okay.
years ago. That's gonna have to probably be put somewhere in the process to move those tanks.
Okay.
Obviously, does the city own all the land all the way to the road by the pilot lounge?
Yes.
So we can move those pretty much anywhere we need to out of the way. Obviously, with an expense, but we own all that land. All right, we have the space. That probably should be put on a secondary radar for the city once we kind of get some breathing room, because we're spending a lot of money, we get it. But at some point, they're gonna get some breathing room, and that's probably gonna have to be addressed. But probably not just yet.
Has the TCEQ came in and done an inspection on your fuel facilities in the last few years that you were aware
Not
of?
that I'm aware of.
We don't want it.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Because if they did, and we have a containment, non-compliance containment issue for stores, then that will trigger the requirement of, hey, we got to fix it now.
I do believe that there is a wall that is around those,
Right.
that at some point was installed as part of a TC compliance.
Right.
I don't know if it's still.
It should be grandfathered in as long as there's no modifications or anything. At least it won't have to be like a surprise. Make sure that, just make sure you have a current TCEQ permit for the underground tank.
Questions? Okay. Joe, you good? All right, so fuel management, I think your new airport manager is gonna take a lot of that responsibility on, and I think just futuristically, we may have to move it, to be in compliance at some point. Zoning. FAA standards that's obviously a KSA and you guys issue, correct?
That's just a city issue. Once we get it annexed into the city, we'll be always down with the property.
Okay.
Currently, the way that it reads, well, it doesn't, what I want it to read is just that we adopt the FAA minimum standards for zoning. That way, if FAA changes their requirements, we stay in compliance with their standards.
Okay.
Because right now, it's, specific codes that they don't use.
All right, fair enough. So I don't think you need anything from us. All right, so that is where we are on the implementation, and I think I like the fact where you've done most of the work for us. That's awesome, but that's a lot of work. Thank you.
Can you summarize for me again a priority list?
All right, the priority list, AWAS is on the priority list. Probably needs to be, according to those guys, very high because it takes a while. The rekeying and get the hangars up to snuff to where we can get the 11 and possibly the 12th.
Okay.
That would be really, really good. The tracking system was kind of high, but may now be able to be delayed slightly because KSA says that's not as important. Repairs.
And on the hangars, that would be those three to look at getting them retrofitted.
Shade hangers.
The shades, the fourth, right?
No, that was three, is that what you?
Item 3. Okay, I thought you meant there's 3 hangars in there.
Yeah.
No, there's 4 hangars.
I think there's four.
Yeah, 4 hangars. Yeah, okay. So those would be, that's a lot of money to be spent already. Acquiring the church car easements or property is probably in there as well. We're probably running you out of money, just to be honest. Boy, you're gonna do the Molnex stuff, you're doing all the deed stuff, all the rezonings, all of that stuff. We don't really need to worry about that on our side. So yeah, the berm is in there, but I bet the AWAS has to go first, and then the people have to be talked with about their process of the berms probably after that, even though we really like to get that done because larger aircraft taxiing through there don't have the right clearway. But in total numbers of things, if we don't get the church and the car property's set right, that berm is irrelevant because we don't have the rest of it, so. Does that make sense? Okay. You guys agree with that, that list? Or does that sound good to you? Any questions, comments, concerns?
Airport operations tracking system, I think we need to clarify that before, one way or the other.
I'm gonna call it, that's me, to call KSA and ask for that. But right now, it seems like that's not super high on the list, but as low a dollar as it is, if late, this summer it became a thing, I think it'd be fast enough, so I don't think that's a problem right now. Let's leave that off the list for now. Do you need any motion or anything from us on that for guidance, or are you happy with what you got? All right. Any questions or comments on 6.1? If not, let's move on to 6.2. Master plan possible improvements. I know there was contention last year, reference our adoption of the alternate plan because of the Molnack property now that it has been acquired. I know KSA is going to say there is no money from the state to work on the east side, but we do have it for the AWAS. Is there a desire to have the airport board do up the considerations of what the rest of that land would be good for supporting an airport?
Absolutely. I'm already
Okay.
being asked that by EDC is now what will we do with the house and the other 20 acres?
Okay.
So absolutely.
The questions I'll have is there a through the fence capability? Would the city be okay with that? So like if they sold off to a developer to develop airport-only housing that mandates you have a hangar and an aircraft, if you live there.
And ultimately a house.
Yeah, that's what I said, house, yeah, you gotta have a
Hangar community.
Hangar first, but have to have a house.
airplane hangar house.
Yeah.
Kind of deal for those acres. You might get your money back in spades. That's,
Yeah. All
So-
those type of properties are completely within, and I've been looking for those properties, all in the East Texas, Arkansas.
So I guess the question would be, what can we do to help on something like to update the master plan to include now this new property to develop that relation to airplane flying? Because we have the industrial park area. This would be obviously higher end homes with airplanes.
So just for clarification, my understanding is that it cannot be included as part of the airport master plan because it is not going to be owned by the city.
No, but through the gate would be owned by you
So
guys.
through the fence agreement, my understanding is they are allowed. I don't know anything else about that. So to your question on, what can you do to help? I mean, we need a developer to make a proposal on what that could look like for presentation to the EDC.
Okay. All right, let me write that down.
To Will's point, that's a very important, that's a fence agreement, they have some homes on there.
Will's point? Okay, that's a good ask.
In Tillman Airport in Canton, can't think of the guy that developed it. But it's privately, but there's every lot they have out there sold like in 6 months.
So
Good.
if you guys can make some contacts with developers and pare it down to a couple that you think would be good and to include a cost proposal, that's something that I can push up to EDC and say, hey, are you guys interested in paying a developer to show you what that property could be? I think it's an excellent opportunity for the EDC to own money that makes them, own property that produces the revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think they would definitely be interested in that.
Okay, and does the city have services available to that? Because I assume you're incorporating the entire thing into the city.
It's city services there.
Okay.
Does that include, is there water and sewer over to that Mullinex property, or do we know?
There is water, I don't know if it's, stuff, but Kristen, do you remember when you were having utilities transferred to the city's name?
The electric is wood. No, it's swap.
Do you know if it's sewer?
No, they have septic tank.
Yeah, septic
We
tank.
don't use sewer.
stuff out there?
I'm sure they would,
Okay.
yeah.
So, internet, yes, water, yes, electrics, yes, sewer, yes,
I think there's gas.
and gas. And gas, I mean, we've got the big five. Okay, so,
Is that y'all's gas?
So CenterPoint.
Centerpoint, so y'all don't sell your own gas, y'all buy it from Center and then sell it to your customers, it's all, okay.
so, we've got pretty much everything out there available at a, which sounds like a pretty reasonable cost. Sounds like a great place to develop a 20-acre air park for 20 or so retiring people who have a lot of money in airplanes that would be willing to pay property taxes and buy gas and things. Gas and services. All right, so you want to take that one to talk to Wells Point and Tailwinds about who the
Yeah,
developers
yeah.
were? Okay. Carl, you want to be part of that since
Absolutely.
you have both boards under your belt?
Mhm.
All right, let's ask Brandon and Carl to chat with those guys.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
met
that's-
the guy at Tillman, I looked, actually, I spy a lot up there. The waiting list is forever.
Well, we might have a new list. All right, is there any other improvements that you guys would like to see now that we know kind of our path forward? Well, that's from us or from the city, I don't care which. Mary?
Good news.
Anything you'd like to see, I mean, it's your namesake, your father's namesake.
This
Anything?
is all very encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully gets our stuff squared away pretty quick.
I guess well, we can talk later, but
No, that was.
when you start considering developers or what you could do out there, I do have a cousin who's a pilot and also a sort of a entrepreneur developer in the Dallas area. He was very fun about that. He might be interested in talking with you about some of that development.
That's you guys right there.
Yep.
Give
Let's have his
look 'em
name.
up. Yep, that'd be great. The more options we have, the better, because that's the way this works. Yep. Find the right fit and we move forward. All right, any other inputs on 6.2? Improvements to the master plan. I think, I'm pretty happy with that. Questions, comments?
Nope, good.
Joe, you good? All right, 6.3, FAA airport category recertification possibilities. My question there is, it's 25, they won't do it until 26. As soon as we get the 10th airplane, is it a pretty straightforward process? Is there anything we can do to help other than get you airplanes in hangars?
That's it. JSA will help.
Yes, they will
get
help.
us in front.
Okay, so looks to me like getting those 4 hangars to whatever standard is very high on our list. Okay, does it do us any good to show up to city council and talk to us about that, or is this pretty well known?
I think it's too early.
Too
I
early.
think I would rather have a game, let me go back and everybody do their piece, and let's put some numbers together, and so we can present a solid plan.
Okay.
A big picture overview, so that they understand that we have T's and I's.
Sure. So far, we've been pretty good. I think. Timeline on that? What do you think?
I'm gonna give you an experienced answer.
Yes.
I would wait until after the election.
Which is when?
May.
After May. So we got till May to get all the stuff done. Seems pretty fair.
Do you plan on having an airport manager, maybe by then?
Hopefully tomorrow after Brian's lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna be meeting with the gentleman who has some flight experience. Retired commercial pilot, has done some airport work at a couple other places. Seems to have a lot of the skill set. Obviously, when I sit down and chat with him and tell him, here's what our master plan looks like, here are problems and challenges we look to be facing. Is he comfortable with attacking those? If he says yes, and he's got all the right skill set, then I'll be telling Mackenzie that so far, everything I've asked him, he's answered. And
Just make sure that he understands, he's not gonna be looking at this book, and he's just gonna be the boots on the ground. We will still handle all of the
Right.
more strategic administrative stuff. I have you count on that.
you just need someone to do the work. which, I mean, we don't have, and like I said before, we need 3 McKenzies. We don't have them. We probably need at least 3 Hollies as well. So, I get it. It's a small town, but everyone fights above their weight. All right, so,
May I ask one thing on this? I think that the metric that the metrics that we need to shoot for, we've heard that it was the number of takeoffs and landings, and we've also heard that it is 10 or more hangars. It would be well settled with me if we nailed that down one way or the other, what metric it actually is.
It's the 10 registered aircraft.
Right.
Based aircraft.
Right?
Right.
I thought it was both as well.
Yeah, see, I thought it was both, and I heard the KSA guy tell us that it was both. Now, I'm not, my hearing could be off.
I'm gonna make that
whatever.
phone call.
I just wanna make
double
sure.
check it. Because I thought it was
I'd like
both.
for us to know.
Once, twice.
At least, yes.
Fair enough. Well, we got your back on this one. We'll double check. All right, city budget, 6.4, city budget inputs. Obviously, we're asking for a lot to happen because the airport has been served, underfunded, underutilized for quite a while. Are we asking for too much?
I think you're asking to fund the plan that council adopted.
Okay.
I think it's very reasonable.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we weren't saying, hey, we would like this much, and you're just not going to get all that stuff. So,
I mean, that's the goal, is to get it all.
yeah, the goal is obviously we want all of this, because clearly we need an airport that's functioning, because you can't utilize that 92 acres of industrial park for whatever we would like as a city for light industry in that area with really nice high-paying jobs without a runway that works. It just
And
defeats
if
the
you look,
purpose.
I just want to point out, 100, 500, 5104 on your financial page. The annual budget that was plugged in there is the $935,300. So we're ready to roll. We're ready to spend the money.
Okay,
Now, there's obviously a reimbursement process, but
Mhm.
the money is there both in revenue and expense, so. that
Perfect.
should be encouraging.
yeah, it's quite nice, so. I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, this is good.
And then now our airport then becomes a center of gravity as well and a focus point. We can do things with it instead of just having it hang out up there. Public education campaign ties in very nicely with 6.4. We would like to encourage the city to have an education plan about the utilization of our airport and the value it has to the city residents, because I think most people think airport, they think that's something for other people. But that it generates so much potential once we have a good airfield up and running, and we've got flights coming and going. People are gonna come in town for food. People are gonna come down for the different stuff. They're gonna park their airplanes. You know, Mr. Carr's gonna have somebody that's gonna need some service. We're gonna have 92 acres of industrial park that someone's gonna go, hey, can I build something close to your runway? You go, sure, we'd love to talk to you about a lease. Because the city owns it, we get to lease it, and we get to say, you can't have a rendering plant by our airport. You can't have, so I'd like to know what the vision would be on getting some education from the city about the airport. Because right now I think it's undereducated.
I think there's a lot of areas in the city that is a great need. It's just educating the public on it. So, I mean, as far as my vision on it, I think I would just need to see how someone else has done it,
Okay.
instead of creating it from scratch. And to be honest, I don't have anyone that I can task with, a huge airport education campaign. I like it. I think it's a great idea. We certainly support and get behind it. It may be something that we need to have a completely separate workshop together where we
see how they have kind of pushed the airport into their communities and just, see what the uptake has been from the people that live there.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. My only suggestion that I would like to add to that is that once you guys have compiled that data, let's schedule another meeting, a workshop meeting to just talk about that. So that I think, we could have a pretty lengthy discussion on what that.
Just
would look
education.
like. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that sounds really good. Thinking about, Mackenzie, you've mentioned that you're working on doing stronger marketing for the city itself. We should just remind whoever's leading that to include the airport, and especially as we get more information, I mean, that could all build into it. I mean, we have the same problem at the art center. We feel like we're out there marketing and people say, oh, I didn't know we had an art center.
Right.
And so it's not something that you can just pound people with, but I think it's gonna take time, but if we're consistent.
Lead 'em to it.
And, yeah, continue to talk about all the positive aspects and how it's going and how it's, helping, not to turn us into a big city, but just a vibrant community.
Right.
That's the key.
The city we want.
Right.
When do you expect, in all this, timeline-wise, to start advertising the 92 acres as available land for light industry? Does the city have any vision on that?
I'll make council get on board with that first. I'm not even sure what it's zoned. If it is zoned, that would probably be step one, is to zone it. Now, I will say, we have a GLA grant that is part of a comprehensive master plan. Within that is land use. So we've identified the 99 acres as something for that consultant to help us work through and zone. That will be step one, is getting council on board with.
Make sure they know we want to extend the runway, and we have to have the clearways, flyways. And then,
And what that means.
yeah, and the things that can't be anywhere in that, in the build lines. Because as airplane flyers, we'd like to have some air clear far back. And ultimately, we want 5,000 foot runway, so we don't want to build up and then go, oh, we have to now move.
This plan is 4,000.
4, but we ultimately want to get to 5. That's, my point of saying that is, we're at step 1. Step 2 gets us to 5, and that gets us as big as we ever want to be for the airplanes that would like to come in and out of here. And that keeps, private jets pretty much out of here. And we don't have 737s landing here, but we have all the other things we do want.
All the good ones.
All the good ones are here. The ones that are too big, that we don't want to hear at 2 o'clock in the morning, won't be showing up.
Well, you only hear them when they're taking off.
Depends.
Yeah, when they're landing, then it's,
All depends. So education, we need to chat with a few other places, see what they've done. Benchmark, does KSA have any kind of marketing opportunity where they've said, here's what works in the past? Or does the state have anything? Is it worth?
Not that I've seen. There was nothing like that at the aviation conference that I went to.
Okay, conference, no.
But I mean, that's, there's tons of engineers and other, TechStop representatives, FAA representatives, and they didn't have any kind of, conference breakout about that, or any
At some point,
conversation.
at some point, we've got to make sure that the city understands the value of that airport. Not the cost, but the value, because ultimately, it should be making you money quite well.
Directly and indirectly.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. Should be doing both. It should be a money-making adventure and providing a great service. And we're at the stage where we can pretty much pick the services we want, which is a great, enviable
Good
place to be. Very enviable. So, all right,
on that note, I'll reach out to Greg, the city manager in Gilmer.
Gilmer's good.
Yeah, the last 2 years, they probably had almost $1 million of private investment, infrastructure built on their airport that the city just needs recently. And they're actually about to break ground on something bigger. But anyway, but yeah, some commercial aviation outfits have set up shop out there too. So I'll visit with them. See how, how did they track them?
really would like our airport to be well utilized. Yes, sir.
I was
discussion on public education and tasking Brandon for that one as well. I see no other reason for us to hang out. Do I have an adjournment speech I need to make? Let's just double check. Adjournment, yes there is.
You need a motion?
I don't think I need a motion for this anymore, do we? Nope, just right now, I gotta see nothing further on the agenda. I call the meeting adjourned at 4:45. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I think we have a good start on moving forward and making sure the city stays on task for modernizing the airport. Thanks everyone for their time. It's great. I love it.
Well, are you gonna be around? You've got your meeting tomorrow, and then are you in town for?
No, I'm in town for